Hi there, I'm Luke, and this is my first time making a review video on YouTube. Jump right into it. Castlevania Nocturne, of course, has been generating lots of headlines and lots of controversy. I haven't really seen a lot of unbiased reviews out there, so I wanted to go ahead and throw my 2 cents into the ring for everybody to see. Uh, so yeah, let's just get into it. Of course, Castlevania Nocturne is the highly anticipated sequel to the original Castlevania series that was released on Netflix. Um, this review is not going to be a spoiler-free one, so I recommend skipping to the conclusion chapter, which will be linked down in the description if you haven't finished Season 1 yet. I'm also not going to exhaustively talk about the plot, because I want to keep this kind of short. Like I said, it's my first video. We're checking this out, testing out the format, what have you. So, let's talk plot. Castlevania Nocturne is set several hundred years after the events of the first series. While the series does star Richter Belmont, who is the main character in Castlevania Rondo of Blood, the plot diverges pretty strongly from the established canon. That might mean that Season 1 is meant to act as a prequel, or that the showrunners have decided to do their own thing entirely. I'm leaning towards the latter based on some other things I'm going to talk about here later, but anything is possible. I don't work on the show. I don't know what they're thinking. Annette and Maria are their own full-fledged characters. There's no Princess in a Castle going on yet. Dracula has been completely unmentioned up to this point. And of course, we have a new big bad, who we're going to talk about a little bit. So our series opens up with our very traumatic and sudden murder of Julia Belmont at the hands of Lord Ulrox. Ulrox spares Richter, as his murder of Julia was retribution for the murder of his lover, and allows him to take the vampire killer whip and flee from America to France. Personally, big fan of the choice to open the series with this scene for a couple reasons. First off, it provides context for the later scene in which Richter turns and runs away from a fight that he was winning, no less, just because Ulrox showed up. I like it because, having that right at the beginning kind of punches you in the face and makes sure it sticks with you, so they don't have to do a flashback series sequence thing later. They can just kind of keep on keeping on, and you can make that mental connection on your own. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the themes of internal conflict here in a minute. I also really like that this scene establishes some expectations for us as the viewers for who the big bad is going to be and what the motivations of our main character are, because it sets up a good subversion of those expectations later on. And it doesn't feel like a cheap gotcha moment when that happens, which is an easy pitfall to fall into. This does feel like a very internal struggle sort of season rather than external struggle. Of course, we obviously have all the vampires and the nobility in bed with each other, if not being one and the same. But we focus a lot on each character's internal conflict as we move through the season, ranging from Richter's childhood trauma, cutting him off from his magic, to Annette's need to reconnect with her spirituality, to start being proactive rather than just reacting to the events that are happening around her. All of our characters have their little moments where they deal with those sort of internal conflicts. And once they've done that, the vampires and night creatures are pretty much cannon fodder from that point on, right up until the very end, where we get the big bad, of course, Ursabet. She turns around, she pretty nearly kills the whole party, forcing Richter and his comrades to flee, carrying Maria unconscious from the church and running off into the countryside, and leaving her mother behind, presumably to be turned into a vampire. It's one of those things that I think deviates from the source material in a way that makes me think that this is not going to be a prequel, because of course that was originally Annette's role in Rondo of Blood, and it would be a little weird to do the same thing twice. As our heroes are fleeing, of course, we also get Alucard showing up right at the very end, and a nice little Deus Ex Machina, and we roll credits. So most of our things get tied up nicely in a bow there. We've got a few loose threads to chew on while we wait for Season 2 to drop, but we've got the beginnings of a really good story. As far as pacing goes, I've seen a lot of complaints about it. I don't personally have any issues with it. There was plenty of action going on, and when things did slow down, there was always a big payoff in terms of plot and story being given to us, so I don't mind it. I've also seen lots of things floating around about how they feel like Richter got his powers too early on, and now that he's like maxed out in season 1, where's he going to go from here? Which I can see where people are coming from with that. But to me, at least, I looked at that and it was very like beginning of Avatar: Last Airbender, Aang conjuring his Avatar state by accident sort of moment to me. We don't ever see Richter draw on the full extent of his power again for the rest of the season after that one encounter in the lake. So I do think this is when I'm incredibly stressed out and under duress, I can make this happen, but I can't do it on command, and I'm still reestablishing my power level. So I'm betting that in the next couple seasons, assuming we get another couple of seasons, we're going to see him working on his magical abilities and powering up further. As far as the characterizations go, I really enjoyed All Rocks. I think everybody did. It was really cool seeing him set up as the big bad and then turning around being like, "Nah, he's just a dude." He had beef with Richter's mom, and that's a shame. But he is, at the end of the day, just another vampire with his own agenda, and he's not here to take Dracula's place. And I just think that's a really nice undercutting of what we were expecting. I'm very excited to see the continuation of Edward's arc, figure out what was going on with that devil forging machine from hell, who sent it, why the night creatures that are coming out of it are different than the ones that we saw Hector and Isaac making back in Series 1. Just so many things that I'm looking forward to getting more information about. All the characters felt like they were complete, they had their own motivations. We saw those characters who were cardboard cutouts in the games, or we didn't really see in the games, like Olrox and Annette, be fleshed out a little bit, and get their own sort of, they're their own people now. They're full characters with motivations and things going on, and they're not just there. That does include deadbeat Grandpa Juice Belmont, of course, who is, I don't know, not my favorite, but I like it. I like that he was included. The animation did seem a little jankier than Series 1. Wasn't super annoying. Didn't get overly on my nerves, but, it wasn't quite as good. I think it'll get better as time goes on. We'll just see. There are some minor plot holes. There are some animation hiccups. The biggest plot hole for me was the whole why is Vampire Killer not exploding night creatures anymore thing. Because it did, I believe, towards the beginning of Series 1. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I would love to know what the decision was there. Maybe it's a new whip. Maybe it's just been desecrated. We don't know. We'll find out, or we won't. Again, it's not something that I would be tearing my hair out about if I wasn't writing a review. I didn't even notice it on my first watch, if I'm being honest. So, like I said, this is going to be short. My final thoughts here. Nocturne checks all of my boxes. It's really fun to watch. Every time I stopped watching because I had something else I had to go do, I wanted to go back and watch more. I didn't leave it and then be like, I could go back and watch that, or I could. Which is what I do with most shows that I try to start. I'm very excited to see what they do with Season 2. I'm hoping they refine the animation a little bit more. We get some more backstory on some of the characters who were left out this time around. I'd also like to see them do more with the French Revolution as a backdrop to the whole series. There was some interesting stuff going on there at the very beginning, and then I feel like we didn't really see anything else beyond, we've got some young people who are participating, and this is the motivation for some of our people who should be good guys to turn around and do some not so good things. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that, see what else they can do with it. Yeah, I've never done a review before, so I don't know how to end this. I haven't done a YouTube video before, so I really don't know how to end this. I hope you found this informational, if not enjoyable. please go ahead and leave a comment if you liked the review, or if you didn't, or if you just want to tell me how your day was. And if I get some more positive feedback, I'll make some more videos. I don't know that reviewing is something I'm going to do a whole lot of, but you never know. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.